Today, I want to talk about taking strength in terrible parenting. Raising great kids is a privilege and a responsibility. Sometimes our children can't see their own greatness. Sometimes we can't. Other times we can see their greatness but struggle to step up because of our own challenges. We will be discussing the brain science, tools, and techniques that help us raise great kids. Hi. I'm Cynthia Armstrong. I'm a general and special education teacher, and I homeschooled my children for 5 years. The things that I talk about are the things that I've researched and studied and applied to find out what works and what doesn't work. And today might seem like a funny way to say the topic, to take strength in terrible parenting, but this is really truly a vital part for particularly one of the groups of parents that I work with. So I'm going to remind you that the three groups that I work with are kind of like parents who see their child's greatness, but their children don't see their own greatness. Parents who don't see their child's greatness, or they struggle to because of all their children's behaviors and things. And then that third group are parents who see their child's greatness but are so stuck in kind of their own stuff that they really struggle to step up to be the parents they want to. And so this topic can really apply to groups 2 and 3. And those were the groups I was in. I could see that my children were great, but I had my own stuff going on, and I didn't know how to, to raise these kids that are great. And so this is going to be kind of a personal story to help those of you who might be in that same boat. So I didn't want to parent like my mom did or my parents did, with yelling and spanking and all those kind of things. But when it came time to be a parent, knowing what I didn't want didn't help me to know what to do. And so even though I didn't get into all that spanking and things, I did have kind of those patterns of rigid, this is the way it needs to be, this is the way you should behave. And when I got into my own stuff, I'd get so crazy in my head that when something went wrong, I would yell at my kids. And I was very much a person who wanted control, and one way that I did that was to like always be right. Well, you should have listened to mom because I told you and I'm always right. And so that kind of didn't help my children to stay in their greatness. That was kind of knocking them down so that I could feel better. But at the time, it was just, no, I know better. I'm the parent. You've got to listen to me because I know. But that didn't help them learn that they're capable of knowing and capable of doing. So the one incident that comes to mind on this topic of strength in terrible parenting was we moved around a lot for job, for health, for helping to take care of extended family, all of these things. So this was going to be the first time we got to buy our own home. We were going to settle down, we were going to stay in one place, and we bought our own home. And my daughter was a teenager at the time, and we're like, yep, you can go ahead. It's our home. Go ahead and paint your room in however you would like to paint it. And she was excited and created her own stencils for a pattern around the middle, and she painted her room. And one time, I don't remember, did I hear something going on in her room, or was I just needing to talk to her? I knocked on the door, and she was sitting in the middle of her room, just bawling her eyes out amidst this mess of unpacking. Unpacking isn't super tidy thing. There's unpacking to find what you need to be able to organize. Um, and my reaction to not her crying. So let me finish the story. So I go in there and I find out she's crying because even though I had reminded her, she didn't put the lid on the paint very tightly. And in the midst of moving things around for unpacking and organizing, she had tipped it over, not realized she had tipped it over. And luckily it was not a full can. She'd already done the painting. And so there was a spot of dried paint attaching into the can on the floor of the home we just bought. And she was bawling her eyes out and crying because she knew I was going to be mad. And and I'd been going through a journey already, knowing that I was yelling and knowing that's not what I wanted to do. So I had already been going on this journey for some time. And we all take our journey and we all take it at our own path. And the fact that she was crying already had prepped me to do some of those things that I'd been practicing. And so we were able to just, oh, yep, there's paint. What do we need to do? And funds were tight, and we didn't have like a wet vacuum or anything to really get it up. And so we went and bought the cheapest, smallest one possible, and we were able to peel up the paint and do some of those things. But the point of the story was that in seeing my daughter's pain and knowing that pain was coming from expectations of myself, it kind of changed my heart, changed my feelings to help solidify some of those programs and learning that I was already doing. And I could very easily have gone into one of my old patterns, which was, oh, I'm such a terrible parent. I'm a no good person. I could spiral there, at which point I wouldn't have been able to show up for my daughter. And this is actually on my list of things that inspire me, that create energy in me, because I took strength in the fact that I was able to learn from this. That strength is essential into permanently changing some of those difficult behaviors or patterns we have as parents. And it's on my list of things that I'm grateful for. Like if I need energy to keep me going, to inspire me, this is one of the stories that is on that list of go-tos for me, because I have so much gratitude that I was such a terrible parent that it came to this point where I was actually able to see it and take it in. Because even though like I knew I was causing some trauma, some damage, some pain for my children, and the opportunity for them to step into themselves a little bit, that's not necessarily the way that I want to help them to do that. So because of the extreme of how I felt and my daughter felt and of this situation, then I was able to make those shifts. So I'm so grateful for that. If I was just kind of a mediocre parent, maybe I wouldn't have felt enough of the pain to have made that switch fully. I might have just let it go forever and not had that strength or that motivation or the power that comes from those emotions when we harness them to make those shifts. So as you are out there, as you're working with your children, as you're parenting, take um, take those things that you notice, because that's our number one job. We can't change those things we don't notice. We can't work on improving in an area if it's one that we kind of avoid or cover up. And then know that it's okay to go there, because that's where you're going to find strength that you can turn into gratitude that will really help you to kind of permanently shift and not just temporarily shift those patterns that we struggle with in trying to raise our kids that are great. And our kids are great by their very nature, and it's our privilege and our opportunity to raise them. Hi friends, Cynthia Armstrong here. Thanks for joining us today. Please make sure that you subscribe to our channel so you can see when new videos come out, and like this one. It is such a responsibility and a challenge to raise great kids, and we are here to help you along that journey to make it as enjoyable and fun and fulfilling as possible. Please check out our website, www.raisinggreatkids.net, and I will leave that in the description below.